Shattered hope. The sun beat down on Aya Rhodes as she stumbled through the crimson sands of Zealand's endless desert. Her throat burned with each ragged breath as the memory of her sentencing replayed in her mind. For the crime of barrenness, you are hereby exiled from Colony Artemis. Commissioner Cooper had announced, his voice carrying across the assembly hall. The continuation of our species demands fertile unions. Any who cannot contribute must be removed. Aya had stood tall despite the humiliation. Her medical credentials stripped from her name. The colony had needed her skills as their chief xenobiologist for 15 years, but now she was disposable. Her crime. Nothing more than failing to conceive during 7 years of marriage. To the commissioner himself, please. She had whispered. The tests show it's not me. The sterility is widespread among our people. We need more research. Cooper had silenced her with a gesture, his face a mask of calculated authority. The council has spoken, Dr. Rhodes. Your attempts to blame others for your deficiency only prove your unworthiness. Now the desert claimed her, each step sinking into shifting sand. The colony had given her minimal supplies, a cruel pretense of mercy. The exile implant in her arm prevented her from ending her suffering, quickly programmed to release excruciating pain. If she attempted self-harm, as Aya crested another dune, she collapsed, her vision blurring from dehydration and exhaustion. The purple sky of Zealand swirled above her like a bruise. The irony wasn't lost on her. A scientist who had dedicated her life to understanding this alien world would now become part of it, returning her elements to its soil. Not today. A voice cut through her fading consciousness, rough. Hands gripped her shoulders, turning her onto her back. Aya blinked, trying to focus on the figure looming above her. A man with skin weathered by the elements and eyes the color of Zealand's twin moons. Who? She managed, before coughing. Someone who knows what Cooper's justice looks like, he replied, pressing a water flask to her lips. Drink slowly, Dr. Rhodes. She obeyed the cool liquid, bringing her senses back. You know me. Everyone knows the commissioner's disgraced wife. He helped her sit up. I'm Kai, former colony security, until I questioned too many disappearances. Aya studied him, recognition dawning. You vanished 3 years ago. Kai's mouth twisted into a grim smile. Vanished is their word, escaped is mine. He glanced toward the horizon. We need to move. The colony sends drones to ensure exiles complete their punishment. There's no point, Aya whispered. I've been sentenced because you couldn't bear children. Kai stated it matter-of-factly. Or because you started asking why so many couldn't. Aya's head snapped up. How did you? Your research wasn't as secret as you thought. Kai offered his hand. I have shelter 20 kilometers east. A group of us survive out here. Others like you and me, people the colony discarded. Impossible. The desert is more forgiving than Cooper. Kai interrupted. The native plants contain moisture. The underground springs aren't all mapped by colony sensors and... He hesitated. There are things about Zealand the council keeps hidden. Things that might explain why they fear your research. Aya took his hand, allowing him to pull her to her feet. Her legs trembled but held. What things? Kai's eyes met hers, intensity burning in them. Fertility isn't random here, Dr. Rhodes. It's controlled. Come with me and I'll show you what I've found, evidence that might validate your theories. For the first time since her sentencing, hope kindled in Aya's chest. My medical bag. They let me keep it. I have data. Good. Kai adjusted the protective wrap around, his shoulders draping part of it around her. Stay close, the sandstorms can appear without warning. They moved slowly at first, Aya leaning against Kai's sturdy frame. As they walked, he pointed out subtle signs of life, tiny crimson blossoms that stored water, alien lizards that darted between rocks. By the time the first moon rose, her steps had grown stronger. How many? She asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between them. 17 survivors in our settlement, Kai replied, all exiled for different reasons, all considered threats to Cooper's vision of perfect order, and they all live. We do more than live, Dr. Rhodes. His voice softened. We've built something out here. Something the colony doesn't have. What's that? His smile reached his eyes this time. Freedom, he said simply. As night descended fully, Kai guided her into a narrow canyon hidden by towering rock formations. The air grew cooler, and Aya felt his hand press gently against the small of her back, steadying her when she stumbled over loose stones. The touch lingered longer than necessary, sending an unexpected warmth through her body. Almost there, he murmured, his breath warm against her ear. Ahead, a faint light glowed against the canyon wall. What looked like solid rock slid aside, revealing a hidden entrance. Aya gasped as Kai led her into a vast cavern transformed into a living space. Soft lights illuminated gardens of alien plants. Water trickled in channels carved into stone walls. Welcome to Sanctuary, Dr. Rhodes, Kai said, pride evident in his voice. Your new home. Aya stepped forward, overwhelmed by what these outcasts had created in the heart of the wasteland. I don't understand. How is this possible? Tomorrow, I'll show you everything, Kai promised. But tonight he guided her toward a small alcove with a bed made of woven fibers. You need rest. As he turned to leave, Aya caught his wrist, her fingers encircling warm skin. Thank you for finding me. Something flickered in his eyes. Perhaps it was you who needed to be found, Dr. Rhodes, he said softly before slipping away into the shadows of their hidden world. Desert Sanctuary. Aya woke to the gentle sound of flowing water. Her body ached from yesterday's ordeal, but the softness beneath her was a welcome change from the harsh desert sand. She sat up slowly, taking in her surroundings in the light of day. The alcove Kai had led her to was simple yet comfortable, with walls adorned by woven tapestries depicting Zeeland's strange landscapes. Good morning. Sarah appeared at the entrance, a woman with kind eyes and a long scar across her cheek. Kai asked, Me to check on you. I'm the settlement's medic, though not formally trained like you. Thank you. Aya accepted a steaming cup of something herbal. How long have you been here? 3 years. Sarah sat beside her. I was a botanical researcher who discovered something in the colony's food supply, a compound that wasn't listed in any official records. Aya's scientific mind sparked with interest. What kind of compound? One that affects reproductive systems. Sarah's voice dropped. I was exiled for spreading dangerous misinformation, but the truth is I was right. Kai found me half dead, just like you. Before Aya could respond, Kai appeared in the doorway. His presence filled the small space in a way that made Aya acutely aware of herself. Ready for the tour, Dr. Rhodes? He asked. Please call me Aya, she replied, standing. And yes, I'm ready. Kai led her through the network of caves that formed Sanctuary. Each chamber revealed another marvel. Gardens thrived under artificial lighting. Water purification systems hummed efficiently. Communal areas buzzed with activity as exiles worked together to maintain their hidden world. Most impressive, Aya noted, examining a hydroponic setup growing vegetables. How did you manage all this? Necessity, Kai explained, and the knowledge each exile brings. Some were engineers, others botanists, each person cast out for challenging the colony's control in some way, each bringing skills Cooper never considered. They stopped at a larger chamber, where several people gathered around tables studying maps and diagrams. They looked up as Kai and Aya entered. This is Dr. Aya Rhodes, Kai announced, former chief xenobiologist and the commissioner's ex-wife. A tall woman with intricate tattoos along her arms stepped forward. I'm Commander Rena, former colony defense. I was exiled for questioning the fertility testing protocols when too many soldiers were being removed from service. And I'm Alex, a younger man with quick eyes joined them, communications specialist, until I intercepted messages between Cooper and off-world contacts, messages about population control. Aya felt dizzy with implications. You're telling me this isn't random? The fertility crisis is manufactured. See for yourself. Kai led her to a small laboratory space where microscopes and basic scientific equipment had been salvaged or built from scraps. Sarah has been collecting blood samples from everyone here. Aya spent hours examining the samples. Her medical training taking over, Kai remained nearby, answering questions, providing materials. When she finally looked up, her face was pale. It's a compound similar to what we use for temporary contraception, but molecularly altered to create permanent changes, she whispered. But why would Cooper do this to his own people? That's what we need to find out. Kai's hand rested on her shoulder. And why we need you. Your research. Your expertise. It could be the key. That evening, the community gathered for a meal. Under the soft glow of bioluminescent plants, Aya listened to their stories. Each exile had questioned some aspect of colony control. Each had paid the price. Yet here, they had built something remarkable. You've created a society that actually works, she observed to Kai as they sat slightly apart from the others. No rigid hierarchy, no forced roles. We had to, he replied. Out here, survival depends on recognizing everyone's value. He hesitated before adding, Cooper never saw your value beyond what you could provide him. Aya felt the old wound reopen. 7 years of marriage, and I never realized I was just a vessel to him, until I failed at that purpose. Kai's eyes fixed on hers. You never failed, Aya. The system failed. You later, Kai showed her to a small hot spring hidden deeper in the cave system. Our luxury, he explained with a small smile. The minerals have healing properties. Are you inviting me to bathe? Aya asked, a teasing note entering her voice for the first time. Kai looked momentarily flustered. I thought you might appreciate it after your time in the desert. I'll leave you to stay. The word escaped before she could consider it. Please, I don't want to be alone with my thoughts right now. Something shifted in the air between them. Kai nodded slowly. They slipped into the warm water, sitting across from each other. Initially maintaining careful distance, Aya closed her eyes, letting the heat soothe her muscles, aware of Kai's presence, his gaze a tangible thing in the dim light. You're staring, she said without opening her eyes. I'm trying to understand you, he replied honestly. The woman whose research could expose everything Cooper has built. The woman brave enough to question what no one else would. Aya opened her eyes, meeting his. And what do you see? Someone who deserves more than exile. Kai moved closer, the water rippling between them. Someone who might help us change everything. His hand reached for hers underwater, their fingers entwining. The simple contact sent electricity through her veins, a reminder of sensations she'd forgotten during years of emotional neglect. Kai, she whispered, what happens if we succeed? What comes after? Freedom. He set his face, now inches from hers. Real freedom, not just survival. When his lips finally met hers, it wasn't rushed or desperate, but gentle questioning. Aya responded, deepening the kiss, her arms sliding around his neck. The water lapped around them as they explored this unexpected connection. Bodies pressed together, finding solace in shared warmth. Later, wrapped in woven blankets, they lay side by side in Aya's alcove. Kai traced patterns on her skin as she rested against his chest. Tomorrow we begin planning, he murmured against her hair. There's a temple in the far canyons, ancient records. The colony doesn't know we've found records that might explain everything. Why tell me all this? Aya asked. You barely know me. I was married to your enemy. Kai lifted her chin gently. Because I've watched you for years from afar, I saw how you questioned things, how Cooper gradually isolated you. When they announced your exile, I knew we had to find you before the desert claimed you. You've been watching. Me and protecting you, he corrected, waiting for the moment when you might join us. His eyes searched hers. Was I wrong? Aya thought of the colony, of Cooper's cold justice, of the lives controlled through hidden means. Then she looked at Kai, at the freedom he offered, at the connection they'd formed in mere days. No, she whispered against his lips, you weren't wrong. Outside their sanctuary, the crimson desert swirled with nighttime winds. The twin moons cast purple shadows across the dunes. Inside, Aya and Kai planned revolution between whispered confessions and tender explorations of newfound intimacy. Two outcasts finding purpose in each other's arms while the truth waited to be uncovered. The forgotten truth dawn broke over sanctuary, casting amber light through crystal formations in the cave ceiling. Aya stirred, feeling Kai's warmth beside her, his arm draped protectively across her waist, a sensation both foreign and comforting after years of Cooper's calculated distance. We should prepare, Kai murmured against her neck, his breath sending pleasant shivers down her spine. The temple is a full day's journey through the canyons. Aya turned to face him, tracing the line of his jaw with her fingertips. Tell me more about this temple. What makes you certain it holds answers? Kai captured her hand, pressing a kiss to her palm. It predates our colony by centuries, built by the original survey team from Earth. They recorded everything. They discovered about Xelon, including something Cooper doesn't want anyone to know. They rose reluctantly from their shared warmth, joining others in the main chamber. Commander Rena spread maps across a stone table, her movements precise and efficient. The route through Crimson Pass is our best option, Rena explained, pointing to a narrow pathway marked in red. Sarah and Alex will accompany you as far as the outer marker. Then you're on your own. The temple's security systems only allow 2 visitors at once. What kind of security? Aya asked, examining the maps. Biometric. Alex replied, adjusting something on a small device. Designed to prevent large groups from accessing sensitive information. But I've modified these trackers to mask your life. Signatures from colony drones. Sarah approached with a pack. Medical supplies, water purification tablets, and emergency rations, she explained, before lowering her voice. And something special. She pressed a small vial into Aya's hand. A counteragent. I've been developing based on your findings yesterday. It's not perfect, but might temporarily neutralize the fertility suppressant. Aya stared at the vial. This could be revolutionary, which is why Cooper would kill to prevent its distribution. Sarah's eyes hardened. Be careful. As morning stretched into midday, the small group set out through a hidden exit at the rear of the canyon. Aya had changed into clothing better suited for the journey. Lightweight fabrics in the dusty red colors of Xelon's landscape. Her medical bag secure against her hip, now containing precious samples and data. They traveled in silence through increasingly narrow passages. Massive rock formations loomed overhead, creating strange acoustics that amplified even the smallest sounds. Kai led with confident steps, occasionally reaching back to help Aya over difficult terrain, his touch lingering longer than necessary. By late afternoon, they reached a stone arch weathered by centuries of wind. Sarah and you? Alex stopped. This is where we leave you, Rena said, checking the horizon through specialized goggles. You have until second moonrise tomorrow. If you're not back, we'll assume the worst. Alex handed Kai a small communication device. One emergency transmission. Only use it if absolutely necessary. Aya embraced Sarah, whispering, Thank you for the counter-agent. I'll protect it with my life. Just come back alive, Sarah replied. Both of you. As their companions disappeared back into the maze of canyons. Kai turned to Aya. Ready? She nodded. Lead the way. The path beyond the arch descended sharply into a ravine where the air grew noticeably cooler. Strange plants with translucent leaves clung to the rock walls, their surfaces glittering with moisture. Aya collected samples as they walked, her scientific curiosity never dormant. These species aren't in any colony database, she noted, examining a purple-tinged leaf. The biological diversity here contradicts everything Cooper claims about Ceylon's limited ecosystem. The first of many contradictions you'll discover, Kai replied, helping her across a narrow stream of crimson water. Cooper has built an empire on controlled information. As twilight approached, they reached their destination, a structure built into the face of a massive cliff, its entrance nearly invisible except for subtle geometric patterns carved into the stone. The first temple, Kai whispered reverence in his voice. Established by Dr. Isabel Chen, leader of Earth's original survey mission. I've read about her, Aya said. Official colony history says she died in an accident during early terraforming. Another lie. Kai placed his hand on a small panel beside the entrance. The stone shimmered, then parted, revealing a corridor illuminated by soft blue light. Chen discovered Zilon's secret, a secret worth killing for. They entered cautiously, the door sealing behind them. The air inside was perfectly maintained, crisp and clean. Aya followed Kai through corridors, lined with data terminals until they reached a central chamber dominated by a holographic projection system. This is it. Kai activated the main console, the complete, unaltered records of Zilon's colonization. The room illuminated with swirling data streams. Images of the planet from various stages of settlement appeared. Text scrolled alongside statistical models. Aya moved from display to display, her scientific mind absorbing everything. "This can't be right," she whispered after nearly an hour of research. According to these readings, Zilon naturally enhances fertility in humans. The original colonists experienced unprecedented reproductive rates. Exactly. Kai joined her, pointing to a particular data set. Chen's final report indicates that something in Zilon's atmosphere creates perfect conditions for human reproduction, a biological response to the planet itself. But that means, Aya's voice faltered as implications became clear, Cooper and the Council have been artificially suppressing fertility. Kai finished, controlling population growth, deciding who gets to reproduce, creating a crisis that doesn't naturally exist. Why? Aya demanded, what purpose could that possibly serve? Kai accessed another file, a video recording, appeared showing an older woman with stern features and intelligent eyes. Dr. Isabel Chen final log. The woman began, "I've confirmed my suspicions. The Earth Oversight Committee never intended Zilon to be an independent colony. Their classified directive is to maintain strict population control, testing their compounds on us before implementing them on Earth. Resources are allocated based on maintaining exactly 1,000 colonists, no more. If fertility isn't suppressed, our population would triple within a generation, destroying their economic model. I've been ordered to administer the compounds secretly. I refused, and now they're coming for me. If anyone finds this, know that Zilon isn't just a planet, it's alive somehow, and it wants us to thrive." The recording ended. Aya stood speechless. The implications were staggering. Everything she'd been taught about Zilon's harsh conditions, about reproductive difficulties, was deliberate manipulation. Cooper is just continuing Chen's original orders. Kai said, controlling who gets to have children, maintaining the population at exactly the level Earth demands. And I was exiled because my research was getting too close to the truth. Aya realized, not because I couldn't conceive. Yes. Kai took her hands. Your work threatened everything. Aya felt anger rise within her. We need to copy these records, take them back, prove what's happening. Already done. Kai held up a small data crystal. Everything we need to expose Cooper. Their eyes met in the blue glow of the ancient terminals, the weight of their discovery pulling them together. Aya leaned forward, capturing Kai's lips with unexpected intensity. He responded immediately, backing her against the console, his hands sliding beneath her jacket. Is this wise? He murmured between kisses. Here. Nothing about us is wise, she replied, working at the fasteners of his clothing, but I don't care. They came together urgently amid the revelations of betrayal, seeking confirmation of life, amid records of deception, bodies pressed against ancient technology as clothing was discarded. Every touch, every gasp, a rebellion against the system that had discarded them. Kai lifted her onto the edge of the console, his mouth trailing down her, neck across her collarbone. She wrapped her legs around him, pulling him closer, needing the connection, the validation of their shared purpose. Later, they lay together on Kai's spread jacket, surrounded by the gentle hum of the temple's systems. When we expose Cooper, everything changes, Aya said, tracing patterns on Kai's chest. The entire social structure of the colony. Are you ready for that? He asked, studying her face. There's no going back. I was ready the moment they exiled me, she replied. But now, she hesitated. Now I have something worth fighting for. Something beyond revenge. Kai's expression softened. Aya. A piercing alarm cut through the moment, red lights flashing through the chamber, proximity alert. Kai leapt to his feet, pulling Aya with him. Colony forces. They dressed quickly, Kai accessing the security system. Drone patrol 3 kilometers out and closing. They must have detected our presence. How? Aya demanded, securing her medical bag with the precious samples, the temple's power signature. Kai grabbed the data crystal. We need to move now. They raced through the corridors, adrenaline overriding exhaustion. As they reached the exit, Kai pressed the crystal into Aya's hand. Take this, back to Sanctuary. If we're separated, they need this information. We won't be separated, Aya insisted, clutching the crystal. The temple door slid open, revealing the purple twilight of Xelon's evening. In the distance, engine sounds grew louder. Run, Kai whispered, taking her hand, and don't look back. They sprinted into the canyon, the truth clutched tightly between them. Above, the crimson desert patrol craft cut through the darkening sky, hunting for those who dared to challenge the colony's carefully constructed lies. Rebellion's ember crimson sand swirled around Aya and Kai as they raced through the narrowest passages of the canyon. Dawn was breaking the horizon, painted in violent streaks of purple and orange. They had evaded Cooper's patrols through the night, but exhaustion threatened to overtake them. We're close, Kai gasped, pulling Aya behind a massive boulder as a drone whirred overhead. One more ridge. They collapsed against the stone, their bodies pressed together, hearing the mechanical hum fade. Into distance, Aya clutched the data crystal, her knuckles white with determination. If they catch us, she whispered. They won't. Kai's hand found hers, his thumb tracing circles against her palm. We've come too far. When the path cleared, they continued their desperate journey. Finally, the hidden entrance to Sanctuary appeared. Rena rushed to meet them, her expression grim. Cooper's forces are everywhere, she reported. They've deployed scan technology we've never seen before. Inside the caves, tension hung heavy as survivors gathered. The evidence from the temple projected for all to see, Dr. Chen's final warning. Cooper's manipulation. Sarah examined the counteragent combined with Aya's research. With this, Sarah declared, we can neutralize the compound. And then what? Alex challenged. Cooper has weapons and army. We have truth. Aya stepped forward. And something he doesn't expect, people willing to fight. That night, as plans formed and strategies developed, Aya and Kai found brief solace. In each other's arms, their touches more urgent than before, carrying the weight of what tomorrow might bring. If we succeed, Aya whispered against Kai's chest. What becomes of us? He lifted her face to his. Whatever we choose, he promised before. Claiming her lips in the amber glow of their sanctuary, they moved together. Bodies entwined in perfect rhythm, hands explored with growing familiarity, whispers of devotion mingled with gasps of pleasure, finding in each other's embrace the hope that had been denied them for so long. Outside the caves, Cooper's forces drew ever closer, while inside a revolution took form built on forbidden truths and unexpected love. Crimson dawn. The colony complex rose from the desert, its white walls stark against Xelon's crimson landscape. Alarms blared as Aya and Kai led their small force through the maintenance tunnels. Sarah and Alex flanked them, with others following. Each carried vials of the counteragent and data crystals containing the temple's revelations. Central. Broadcasting is 2 levels up, Alex whispered, checking his stolen security codes. Once we're in, we can transmit everything to every screen in the colony. Cooper will be in the council chamber. Aya added, her voice steady despite the fear curling in her stomach. He never leaves during crisis protocols. They moved silently through the sterile corridors, occasionally subduing guards with tranquilizers developed from Xelon's native plants. When they reached the broadcast center, Kai turned to Aya. This is it, he murmured, pressing his forehead to hers. No matter what happens, know that finding you changed everything. She kissed him briefly, fiercely. We finish this together. The door slid open, Alex immediately taking control of the systems. Within minutes, Chen's testimony played throughout the colony. Alongside data proving the artificial suppression, Aya's research appeared with Sarah's counter-agent formulation. "It's done," Alex confirmed. "Every colonist is seeing this. Now for Cooper." The council chamber doors opened with surprising ease. Too easy, Aya realized as they entered to find Cooper waiting. His familiar cold smile sending ice through her veins. "My dear wife," he said, as if welcoming her home, and her desert rat. How predictable. Guards surrounded them, weapons raised. Cooper approached, examining Kai with clinical detachment. "Did you really believe I wouldn't prepare for this?" Cooper's voice remained conversational. "Your little broadcast changes nothing. The colony needs order control. Without it, we become animals. You've been poisoning your own people," Aya countered, "deciding who deserves children." "I've been ensuring survival," Cooper snapped. "Earth's resources depend on controlled population." "Earth," Kai laughed bitterly. "You still answer to masters who abandoned us decades ago." Cooper's composure slipped. "Someone must maintain order. Your order is finished." Rena appeared at the doorway with dozens of colonists behind her. "The people have seen the truth." Cooper's hand moved to his weapon, but Aya was faster. The syringe in her palm found his neck before he could react. "What?" he gasped, stumbling. "What have you done?" "Given you what you denied others," Aya replied. "The counter-agent. The choice." The revolution came, not with bloodshed, but with truth. As Cooper's authority crumbled, the colonists embraced their freedom. The compounds were neutralized, the temple's knowledge shared, the artificial barriers between colony and desert dismantled. Months later, Aya stood at the edge of what had once been sanctuary, now an extension of the reformed colony. Her hand rested on her slightly rounded belly as she watched Zeeland's twin moons rise. "Thinking about names?" Kai asked, joining her, his arm sliding around her waist. "Thinking about Chen," Aya replied, leaning into his embrace. "How one person's courage changed everything." "Like yours," he murmured, kissing her temple. "Like ours," she corrected, turning in his arms. The desert wind carried the scent of night-blooming flowers as they stood together beneath the crimson sky. Their child would be born into a world where choices belonged to the people, where fertility wasn't weaponized, where love wasn't measured by reproduction. "What happens now?" Kai asked, his hand gentle. Against her growing child, Aya smiled up at him. "Now we live, now we choose, now we love." Their lips met as purple twilight deepened around them. Two outcasts who had found in each other the strength to challenge an empire. The crimson sands of Zeeland swirled around their feet, a planet that had always intended them to thrive, finally free to embrace its true nature.